Hello everyone. In the previous our topic, we were discussing about the attributes. Let us continue with the same topic. So we were discussing that how we can read the values of an attributes, what syntax should be used. Okay. So now we are discussing about how to use the dot notation as a part of any expression. Okay. Here you can see the example percentage d percent blank dot x and blank dot y. Okay. So what is this percentage d and this is a precision which represents the floating point number. Okay, so since 3.0 and 4.0 floating point number and we have two values, we are writing percentage d two times. Okay, in the similar way, if you want to calculate the distance is equals to mat dot square root of blank dot x exponent of 2 blank dot y exponent of the 2. So when you add this one, it will give the when you add and make square root of that particular value, then it is going to give the distance value. Okay, so now in the similar way, we can also pass an instance as an argument in the usual way. Okay, how we can pass an instance as an argument? Okay, here we have passed p, it is an instance which is passed as an argument, okay, to the function print def point. Okay, now if you print this in the instead of calling point dot x and point dot y, we can just similar write instance, that is p dot x and p dot y. It is going to give the same value. Now this print point will take the point as an argument and displace it in the mathematical notation. To invoke, you can pass the blank as an argument. How we can invoke print point? Okay, here p is an alias to the blank, so that is why it is going to give the same value, that is 3.0 and then 4.0. Okay, so that is why I told inside the function p is an alias for the blank. So if the function modifies p, blank also changes. Okay, so this is about the attributes. The next topic is rectangles. Okay, how we can um, relate the objects and the classes to find something in the rectangles. Okay, so now we say for example, sometimes it is obvious that we write the attributes, we have to find out what attributes an object should contain. Other times you make your own decisions that these attributes should be contained. For example, imagine if you want to design a class to represent a rectangle, how you can make it, what attributes you should specify. Okay, you can location, then size of the rectangle, so it will be a confusing, right? What attribute it can contain, any attributes. So you can here we can ignore the angle to keep the simple thing. If you consider the angle, the coding will be very complicated and you have to write some mathematical logics and all. So to make it simple and explain simple, we are just ignoring the angle and assume the rectangle in either vertical or the horizontal position. How we can do this? There are two possibilities. One is you can specify one corner of the rectangle, that is, or the center. The other one is the width and the height. So these can be the attributes, can be considered as the attributes. And the other one is you could specify two opposing corners. Two opposing corners means it will be the diagonal opposites. Okay, so at this point it is hard to say whether either is better, which one is better. So let us implement the first example and check how it goes. Okay, now how you can write the class definition when you have the three attributes, that is width, height and then corner. Okay, first you have to write the class and then name of the class is rectangle, and this is the document string which lists the attributes. It represents the rectangle and the attributes which contains the width, height and then corner. Now if you want to represent a rectangle, you have to initiate the rectangle object and then assign the values. How to initiate? You are writing one object, that is box is equals to rectangle, and then you will be writing height, width, height and the corner. Box dot width is equals to 100, box dot height is 200, and then corner will be called as the point. So what does this do? The expression, this box dot corner dot x means it will go to the object box that refers to and then select the attribute corner, and then it will select that corner, and then inside that corner we have another attribute x, and this x will be collected and then it prints the particular value. So now this is how you can represent the same in the object diagram. Now we have a rectangle class and then we have object, and inside the object we have three attributes, and the corner object inside the corner attribute we have another attribute, that is x and the y, which can be considered as the point. Okay, so which shows the state of this particular object. Okay, so this is about how you can use the rectangles. Next topic is instances as return values. Okay, you know the classes contains so many instances which can be called as the objects. How you can make them as the return values. Okay, so we can say a functions can return the instances. How it can return the instances? Okay, for example, say we have the program defined type, that is find center. It is taking rectangle as an argument and returns a point that coordinates the center of the rectangle. How it is coordinating? P is equals to point. For example, say p dot x is equals to rect dot corner dot x rect dot width by 2 rect dot corner dot y plus rectangle dot height divided by 2, and it will return the particular corresponding value of the p after calculating this one. Okay, in the similar way, we have an example that passes the box as an argument and assigns the resulting. How you can pass the box as an argument and assign the resulting point to the center. Center is equals to point center of the box and then print point of the center, and obviously it's going to give 50 comma 100. Okay, so this is about the instances and the return of values. And the next topic is objects are mutable. Okay, so far we have discussed about what exactly is the meaning of the mutable. Mutable means you can change something, that is changeable. Here also we can say objects are mutable, that means you can change the objects or the value of the objects. How you can change? So we say we can change the state of any object by making an assignment to one of its attributes. You have to make assignment to any of its attribute, and then we can make the changes to it. For example, if you want to change the size of the rectangle without changing its position, and obviously you can change the value, you can add any value. For example, box dot width we already have the 50, and then we'll be adding the another 50 to it, and it will become 100. Now box dot height is equals to box dot height, initial value is 100, 100 plus 100, it becomes 200. So that is one way. Then the other way is you can also write the functions that modify the objects. How we can do? Okay, for example, I have a user defined type, that is grow rectangle. Then you're calling the arguments as rectangle, d width and then d height. That is, it will take the rectangle object and two numbers, that is d width and d height, and adds the number to the width and height of the rectangle. Rect dot width plus increment the d width with the d width value. Okay, in the similar way height also will be incremented, so it will value will be incremented. So 100 plus 50 will be 150, then 100 plus 100 will be 200. Okay, now box dot width and box dot height value will be 150 and then 300. Again, if you're trying to grow the rectangle, box comma 50 comma 100, this is another way you can directly add the number. So now we are adding another 50 to it, it is 200, and then adding 100 to it, it is 400. Okay, so inside this function rectangle is an alias for the box, so when the function modifies, rect box changes. Okay, so this is about how objects are the mutable. Okay, so in the next session we'll be discussing about what exactly is the copying. Thank you.